10 games that many people forgot about but are to this day excellent experiences and will worth every cent you spent. So I hope you enjoy it, leave your like, and let's go.
Amicia, I want to see Mommy.
Hugo,
I want her to come back.
I'll carry you. Mommy is dead, Hugo. You'll never see her again. Go away! Hugo, no! Leave me alone.
Don't take too long.
I hate you.
It's for your own good, Hugo.
I'm sorry, I'm sick.
They've come back.
Everything is alright. Now.
A Plague Tale: Innocence is an amazing and riveting action game. It's one of those games with a rich and powerful storyline, but still with an immersive and good gameplay. It was developed by the studio Asobo Studio and released in 2019 to PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC, and later to Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 5, and Amazon Luna. Follow the grim tale of young Amicia and her little brother Hugo in a heartrending journey through the darkest hours of history. Hunted by Inquisition soldiers and surrounded by unstoppable swarms of rats, Amicia and Hugo will come to know and trust each other. As they struggle to survive against overwhelming odds, they will fight to find purpose in this brutal, unforgiving world. An excellent game for fans of medieval stories or even games with a good storytelling, so if you never played, do it, you won't regret. And the sequel was already released, and it's called A Plague Tale Requiem, and is a very good experience too.
Why does she keep resisting like that? Only our methods differ. We have the same goal. We both fight the plague.
BT-7274. Your data recorder says your original pilot was killed in action.
Correct. My original pilot was KIA. I am now linked to Rifleman Jack Cooper.
Who authorized this?
We had no other options.
Titanfall 2 is a forgotten but extremely good first-person shooter, and no, I'm not talking about the multiplayer, that's also very good, but the focus here is the story mode, and is easily one of the best story first-person shooter games released in the last years. It was developed by the studio Respawn Entertainment and released in 2016 to PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Microsoft Windows, and as you imagine, it's the second game of the series, but the first one was multiplayer only, with no story mode, and the best decision they could have had to the second was to do a single-player story mode, and gladly they did it. A story mode campaign packed with action and inventive twists. Play as a militia rifleman stranded behind enemy lines, who encounters a veteran Vanguard-class Titan. The two must work together to uphold a mission they were never meant to carry out. So if you don't like multiplayer games and never played this one cause you didn't know about the story mode, you deserve to have this unique experience.
Today forward, your lives will be forever changed.
Wait, Jackie Ma, I'm in.
Find a way to make him trust you. We want the Red Poles, the lieutenants, all of them. Do whatever it takes.
Sleeping Dogs is an amazing open-world action adventure. The game is set in a style similar to Grand Theft Auto, with many mechanics really similar, but all with its own style and personality. In the game you can explore the world in different ways: bikes, cars, bus, and much more. The combat is divided in two different ways: fighting, and different weapons, such as pistols, rifles, and more. The biggest part of the game, the combat, will be like a beat-em-up, with many different moves. What's really good, and as you advance in the game you'll be learning new moves. What's always good, cause it'll not feel repetitive. The game was developed by the studio United Front Games, and released in 2012 to PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and PC, but later it was also released for PlayStation 4, and Xbox One, with a definitive edition version, with more content, and a better performance in general. So if you're searching for a great open-world game that you didn't play, this one is really good.
He's only.
I'm not fucking blind.
Relax, old boy. We're on the same side, remember?
條友都幾串喎。喂，有冇貨？
Yeah, you got the money?
喂，前方右邊
咩啊？
有個碼頭警衛，佢由後面上緊嚟啊！
揾人截住佢啦！
冇可能，我哋呢度太遠啦路。
喂，
有冇貨？
有冇貨？
有個碼頭警衛，佢由後面上緊嚟啊！冇可能，我哋呢度太遠啦路。
喂， 有冇貨？
有個碼頭警衛，佢由後面上緊嚟啊！冇可能，我哋呢度太遠啦路。
喂， 有冇貨？
有個碼頭警衛，佢由後面上緊嚟啊！冇可能，我哋呢度太遠啦路。
Look, Daddy, it's you.
BioShock 2 is the second game of a beloved first-person series. Many people never played this game cause it's the weakest game of the series, and yes, it's true, but it doesn't mean it's not a good game. Actually, it's very good, with a good story, gameplay, and an immersive combat and universe. The game was developed by the studios Irrational Games and 2K Studios, and it was released in 2010 to Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, Mac OS Classic, and Microsoft Windows. Set approximately 10 years after the events of the original BioShock, the halls of Rapture once again echo with sins of the past. Along the Atlantic coastline, a monster has been snatching little girls and bringing them back to the undersea city of Rapture. So if you never played this game, I highly recommend it, and if you never played the series, play them all. They're all really good. The last one, Infinite, is really different in its style, less horror and more action, but is an excellent experience, especially by its incredible storyline.
Some big guy? Bigger they are! Get out of here, freak! Can't shake this guy, Walker! Mr. Bracey, keep her steady! You out of your mind? Trust me!
Spec Ops: The Line is an excellent but unfortunately forgotten third-person shooter game with an amazing, deep, and immersive story and a responsive and addictive combat with multiple weapons and a lot of personality. The game was developed by the studios Ager Development and Darkside Game Studios and released in 2012 to Microsoft Windows, Linux, Xbox 360, macOS, and PlayStation 3. An immersive third-person modern military shooter designed to challenge players' morality by putting them in the middle of unspeakable situations. Unfortunately, this game was removed from Steam, so it's harder to find on PC, I mean, officially at least, and on consoles you can play it too, but it's not available on Xbox Store, at least not for me. But what we really needed was of a remastered version of this incredible game, but if you have the opportunity, play it, you won't regret.
33rd get away with any of them?
Yeah, they did.
Don't need a translator to know they're hurting.
What are they saying now?
These people want us gone.
You should get out of here. Leave these people to grieve.
Yeah, I think that's the least we can do. Come on.
The first Berserker Kazan is a brutal hardcore action RPG game released in 2025, but despite its quality is really impressive. The game wasn't as successful as it deserves, so now let's talk a bit about it. The game was developed by the studio Neepal and released this year, 2025, to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, GeForce Now, and Microsoft Windows. The player will become Kazan, the great general of the Pellos Empire, who overcame death and sets out to reveal the incidents that led to his downfall and seek vengeance on his enemies. A must-play game to all Souls-like fans, as it's not exactly a Souls-like but is really similar in many details, especially by its hardcore difficulty, with an immersive combat system, incredible boss fights, soundtracks, and a lot of charisma. Nine Souls is one of the best indie games of 2024, an absolute masterpiece of Metroidvania games. It was developed by the studio Red Candle Games and released to Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4 and 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, Mac, and Windows. The game is highly inspired in the classic Metroidvania games, and the combat is really inspired in Sekiro, especially the parry. That's one of the most important features of the game. A lore-rich, hand-drawn 2D action platformer featuring Sekiro-inspired deflection-focused combat. Embark on a journey of Eastern fantasy, explore the land once home to an ancient alien race, and follow a vengeful hero's quest to slay the Nine Souls, formidable rulers of this forsaken realm. As all Metroidvania games, the player will start with just a few possibilities, and as you explore in advance you'll get more and more features, allowing you to go to places you couldn't before. The boss fights are insane, with beautiful graphics, insane effects, and a difficulty worthy of a Sekiro-inspired game. But in case you don't want to have any difficulties in the game, you can play it in the easy mode, but I think it's better in the normal mode so you'll have the true experience of this insane adventure.
In international news, a leading arms trafficker is reported to have been found executed. Mohammed Omar bin Nasri, based in a remote part of Saudi Arabia, was in possession of over $100 million worth of small arms, ammunition, missiles, and vehicles.
Alpha Protocol is a forgotten and underrated third-person game that mixes a good action, with RPG mechanics, stealth gameplay, and a deep storyline. Even with choices, what for a 2010 game is not as common as nowadays. The game was developed by the studio Obsidian Entertainment and released in 2010 to PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and PC, but for some reason this game was never really famous. But today I'm here to introduce you this great game. Loyalty carries a price, and no one knows this more than Agent Michael Thornton. A talented young agent cast out by his government, Thornton is the only one with the information needed to stop an impending international catastrophe. So if you're searching for a forgotten game that deserves to be remembered, this is a very good one, so go ahead and have fun.
I wish I could tell you who to trust.
You are operating under Alpha Protocol.
The Evil Within 2 is the sequel of a great survival horror game by the creator of Resident Evil. The game was developed by the studio Tango Gameworks and released in 2017 to PlayStation 4, GeForce Now, Xbox One, and Microsoft Windows. Detective Sebastian Castellanos has lost everything, including his daughter, Lily. To save her, he must descend into the nightmarish world of STEM. Horrifying threats emerge from every corner, and he must rely on his wits to survive. For his one chance at redemption, the only way out is in. An immersive survival horror game with a complex story and universe, a great combat mixing stealth and frantic combat with many different weapons, since simple pistols to explosive crossbow. Different of the first game, this one is set in a small open world, filled with enemies, all with a lot of personality, making the exploration absolutely rewarding. What's always good in an open world game?
Hello? Sebastian, are you there?
Lily?
Death's Door is an incredible action-adventure game. It was developed by the studio Acid Nerve and released in 2021 to PlayStation 4 and 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, Nintendo Switch, and PC. The game is set in an extremely interesting world. You're a crow, and also a reaper, and must use many different powers and weapons to reap the soul of the dead. The gameplay is really interesting, with a fluid combat, giving you different powers and weapons as you progress in the game. The structure resembles a Souls-like in some aspects, like a bonfire. When you rest there, the enemies will reappear, insane boss fights, and a little bit of difficulty, but it's not really hard. But I'm sure that if you start playing this game you won't want to stop playing so soon. And those are the games, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to leave your like and comments. That helps a lot. Thanks, and so long.